Looks like we're just about live here. Welcome to the Sunday live stream. Starting in the afternoon today. I'll do a little playing. Hello, Jeffrey. Welcome. Just kind of a little playing around here, and also we'll talk about some things that I've released recently today, and yeah, I'd love to hear from you and what you're up to and playing out there and checking out and listening to. So let me know and join me. Cup of tea, coffee, whatever you like. Got the Footprints mug here. Guitar and Improvisation podcast. Check out the podcast. All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining me today. A couple of things we're working on. So yeah, this guitar, I get a lot of compliments on this guitar. I appreciate it. This is the Ibanez AS200 from the late 2010s, I believe. And it's kind of been my main guitar ever since I picked it up. So guitar funk. Yeah. So the last video I did on the channel, Watermelon Man. Kind of a funky guitar sort of thing, and so that's I mean, at least as far as what I was kind of doing with it, but obviously it's originally piano and horns and all that, but certainly works really great as a little kind of funky thing. And you got this little, you know, you do a little. You do a little funky, little thing going on there with the comping. So really nice one. I hope really nice tune. So it was really great to add that to the list on the channel. Although I did do a series of videos on that early on in the channel, but I was pretty happy to kind of do that one this week, and kind of fun tune. And actually, I was just improvising earlier over the changes. But funk guitar, a lot of fun to do. I think what was that? So doing a little if you're doing funky guitar, it's nice to do a little scratchy kind of thing, and a little on and off with the pressure, and that can all little slides in are kind of cool to do too. I'm trying to think of what that song was. That's the song I did in a big band many years ago. Don't recall the name, but if you know it, let me know. But yeah, the tune is a really great tune, and it kind of works out nicely on guitar. You know, I'm back to the Watermelon Man here. You know, because you can kind of cover a little bit if the piano player is just doing some little pairs and things, and it generally can translate pretty nicely over to the guitar. So that's all pretty cool to work with. Thanks for writing in, Steve. I'll have to check that out. I have not heard that one. Taking requests. Improvise on footprints. Yeah, I may be able to do that in a little bit here. I do have a video on footprints on the channel. I think I released late last year. Check that out if you get a chance. Avenue Blue. Cool, I'll check that out. Very cool. Okay, everybody. Oh, so you did see my video. I appreciate it. Checking that out. Um, let's see. Have I ever met George Benson? No, I wish I had. I wish I had, but I haven't. Who knows? There's maybe still time. I don't know if I'll ever get close enough to him to get to meet him, but that would be really cool. Um, thank you, appreciate it. Um, it's funny. I was just watching a little interview, a couple of little segments of interviews with George Benson, with my wife. I think like a week ago, and it was really cool to talk about, hear him talk about his time. I think I think he's from Pittsburgh originally, and uh, him talking a little bit about kind of coming up. And this is, I think, one of the interviews, that sort of a series of interviews that you'll hear. I think some of the Wes Montgomery, maybe relatives, or kind of have been kind of circling around some of the great jazz guitarists, contemporary jazz guitarists who have been influenced by Wes Montgomery. And so George Benson talks about his influence, and he goes into how he saw a picture originally of Wes Montgomery with what he called the cowboy strap, with uh, the strap going around the neck, which you don't see too often. And uh, but apparently he was really blown away first time he really got to hear Wes Montgomery. So understandable, obviously. Um, Blue and Green, yeah, absolutely. It's been a while. I have Blue and Green. I have a chord melody of Blue and Green on the channel. So check that one out as well. I've got chord melody on that. So check out Blue and Green there. Thanks for writing in today. Um, all right, so I'll give my regular like and subscribe, please, if you are enjoying this content. We just got to 11,500 subscribers, so really pretty cool. Would really love to get to 12. I'd love to reach 12,000 subscribers by the end of this year. We'll see what happens. I think it's pretty doable. So that would be pretty cool. Okay, Steve writes in. George Benson's engineer in New York City. His name, Robert Blue. I can hook you up with the engineer. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that would be amazing. To help me meet Benson. Um, I don't know if you would have time or interest in talking to, kind of me. I'm not, not exactly famous, but yeah, that would be awesome if you somehow connected me with George Benson and he was willing to take the time to meet me. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I've done some George Benson tunes on the channel. I would like to redo some of those, and maybe do some more. The most recent one I did, it was just at the end of the last year. What tune I did do? It was a really fast one, Clockwise. Um, who are my favorite players when I started? So when I started, I was, I liked Hendrix really, and I was really kind of inspired by Hendrix. And he kind of appeals to me on that improvisation level, where he's kind of just getting out there and at least in the live setting, you can really hear them interacting, and so that really I found that pretty inspirational. And I worked with a guitar teacher, and he introduced me to he was a big Steely Dan fan, so he introduced me to some of those tunes, and of course I would bring things in, but then he would say check out this player, and I think some of the first jazz players that I really kind of started listening to, I started listening to Joe Pass, and I think I had a couple albums, and so his playing really appealed to me. But yeah, I got to know more and more different people over the years, and I've gotten to just yeah, I really kind of over the years I really just spent some time with not in person, but just in some time kind of getting to know some of the players in from what I could find from recordings, um, and some of the videos, the Hot Licks videos, and stuff like that. A guy I was gigging with one point he was digitizing all his VHS and uh, cassettes, and so I ended up like purchasing his old ones off of him for pretty cheap, and I would go through and listen to all those different videos um, as well. And so I got some things on there too, which is pretty cool. Uh, but anything Barney Kessel, yes, Wes Montgomery, Pat Metheny, and so many more, that I would just really get into a player for a while, a period of 3 months or 6 months, where I would just be kind of like really trying to experience their thing a little bit. Um, so let's see. So favorite players, yeah. Steve says, I think George Benson is the best guitarist ever because he took all the great, greatest. I'm not sure what that's saying, but did and proved it way better. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, that's. I mean, he's definitely one of the very very greats. I would agree. Um, Jesse, vocalizing solos in unison, which is something George Benson does, right? With my playing like Benson. Oh, okay. And John Mayer recommends, and my bandmates have said my solos have become more melodic and pleasing. Yeah, absolutely. I could see that. Yep, and that's a great thing. Um, Not spamming as many notes. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. That makes sense. Okay. Either way, I'm enjoying the mind-body connection of that vocalizing. No, that is great. Absolutely. Playing all that. All right. So yeah, play a little kind of the melody of what smells like Teen Spirit there. Hope that kind of works for you. Not necessarily doing a lot of requests beyond maybe improvisation, but I'll do what I can to help you. Thanks Namit for for your comment. So I played a little bit there for you. Okay. Okay, Jeffrey Boyle, yeah, jazz. And one of the Easter Island. What do you call those? Headstones? Joseph, hello. And I'm sorry I got back to you here. Night in Tunisia, great tune. That would be one I would like to do on the channel. And folks, I'll be looking at the vertical as well as the horizontal live stream. So if you don't see what I'm responding to, that's the case there. Joseph, how are you doing? Good evening. Need to see the recent Benson interview by Rick Beato. Is there one? I'll have to check that out. I'm trying to recall. Did I watch that? I don't think so. But if there is one, I'm definitely going to be seeking that out. So I'll probably be searching that up later. Namit says he's got an acoustic guitar. That's cool. All right, I'll do a little playing around here. Okay, let's see. So we've got how to improvise using pentatonics. So that's a great question. So yeah, that's actually a topic that I've been discussing a little bit over time on the channel. And actually, for my members over there at fretprince.com, I put together a sound slice exercise just recently, maybe about a week or two ago, on using pentatonic scales on Stella by Starlight. And I think I did a little talk on the podcast as well. So pentatonics are, really really helpful and can be used really effectively to play changes. Although you might want to become pretty agile with them, so maybe moving moving your pentatonics around to fit certain changes. Also altering some of the pentatonics so that you can uh, adapt them, to chords. So one thing I go over there is Stella by Starlight, taking like a E minor pentatonic and lowering the fifth so that just simply kind of fits the E minor 7 flat 5 pretty well, right? And then I have, when you'd have a pentatonic 5-note scale, it has 5 modes. So you can make use of those different modes in various ways. And then there's also something called the minor 6 pentatonic, which one of the modes of that one is also known as the dominant pentatonic, and that one can be really effective as well. So that's probably kind of a lesser known scale that I think I think needs to be talked about more, um, and I think it's incredibly helpful. So if you had the second change of that, you could alter the dominant pentatonic by lowering the 9. Right. But it's really great for doing, also working with 2/5s in jazz tunes and improvising on that. So another couple of changes in the let's say Stella by Starlight, where you could play the C minor pentatonic on the C minor 7, of course, and then you could play the C minor 6 pentatonic, or what's also known as the F dominant pentatonic, on the F7. So you can really use those pentatonics. And then there are different kind of conceptual things that you can do alongside with pentatonics, which is use the pentatonic to land on some consonants and to suggest chords, because if you play them in a certain sort of simple way, you end up with 4 notes of the basic chord you're playing. Let's say C minor, for example. So you have the root, flat third, fifth, and flat 7. So if you play a pentatonic scale, you're really just putting in an 11 in with that, and it ends up being very consonant, to the sound. So you can really use it to suggest chords, and you can also use it to get a little outside. So there's a lot of really pretty cool things going on with pentatonics. So thanks for your question. That's a fun topic for me as well. Done any jazz arrangements for pop songs? So let's see. I think I did do an arrangement for Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which I guess we would consider a pop tune. But that one's kind of crossover to, I would say, for jazz. And so yeah, I have done it maybe a little bit, but I will continue to do arrangements. That's one thing I'm really aiming to do. So let me take some questions over here. So Green Dolphin Street, I've done Green Dolphin Street on the channel. So I've got a chord melody on that one. So check that out. Play a song by Paul Simon. Well, thanks for joining in. So crazy after all these years. Yeah, I don't know if I know that one off the top of my head, but thanks for your suggestion. Let's see. Jaruto. When approaching improv on tunes, do you think scales or the chord itself? I'm curious because we get taught in scales in school. Yeah, the thing I would say as far as practicing is, scales, you want to practice and play them because you want to be aware basically of where the notes are on your instrument, and the notes in a scale relate to each other in ways that are important. Um, and you're going to be, if you know your scales, if you know E flat major scale or something, you're also going to be you're just going to be working with that as long as you play an instrument in some way, you know what I mean? So if you're doing if you want a B flat dominant seventh, you start from a tone within the E flat major scale and go every other note, and you get a B flat 7, for example. As long as you get 4 notes. Uh, so yeah, I mean, when you're in your and this is one thing I talk to students about, which is, sometimes you're playing, sometimes you're practicing. So when you're, let's just say, at home, um, that line can maybe sometimes feel blurred. So I would set out an intention. So scales are for practicing, um, and phrases and language and expression are for playing. So being aware in your practice session and uh, building up how scales work and everything, um, is important, so that when you go to play, you are fluent, right, in what's available on your instrument, and your ears connecting what it what it's hearing internally with what's coming out. So uh, but on tunes, you want to kind of think about, there are some different techniques that you can use. You can focus on the melody. So a lot of um, especially early improvisers would focus on the melody and maybe do variations on the melody. Um, Improvisers started to get a bit into, over the years, started to get into arpeggios and using arpeggios to solo. Um, and then, you know, um, we've got the whole chord scale relationship. So to go from just kind of doing arpeggios to really getting in there and playing lines melodically, and being aware of chord tones and non-chord tones. That's a um, whole thing as well. Um, so that's kind of my thought on that. It is really necessary to know your scales and things, especially if you're in like music school and are planning to play or are already playing professionally. Uh, really um, gotta have that stuff together. So, all right, thanks everybody for checking this out. I will mention here that I do still offer private lessons, so check the links down below if you're interested in signing up for that. Some other things that I'm doing, I've really just in the last few months, I've been getting the member area on the website out. So check that out. You can get a 14-day free trial on that, and doing my best to put things out fairly consistently here. But I do currently have a good amount of practice things with Sound Slice and videos and all that. So let me check that out. I'll probably hang out here for about another 10 minutes. So thanks everybody for joining and talking with me. Do appreciate it. And yeah, let's see, do a little more playing. Some of the tunes folks have asking about. Okay. Let's see. We got. Could you please tell me some exercises to learn shredding? So shredding is kind of not my area really at all. I I I I don't know. But I can give you some general ideas of things that I would I would suggest working on. So one thing I would say is this could relate back to the scales, but take some scales and try to play like three notes per string, and then maybe do some hammer-ons. That may be a good exercise to try to do, to maybe gain some shredding chops. So just kind of go and pick a starting note, pick a scale, and then just do three per string. I think that would be pretty helpful for shredding. But I'm probably not your go-to person for shredding. Kind of not quite my area. Um, do you know how to play "Glad to Be Unhappy"? No, I don't know that one. Thanks for writing in. Okay. All right. Thanks everybody for joining joining me today. Hope you enjoyed the live stream and some things I'm not really sure quite what I'm doing this next week, um, but yeah, I'm gonna think of something to put together, and I am planning to do a uh, midweek kind of improv talk and all that. So yeah, so some Chuck Berry, try to do a little bit of this. Do that to kind of in a 12 bar blues thing, maybe in B flat. I have taken folks through some Chuck Berry tunes and help them out, with Johnny B. Good and stuff like that. So if you need some assistance on those kinds of things, let me know. Jaruto, you are most welcome. Here's that rainy day. Yeah, that's a great one. Um, do I have the same guitar as John Scofield? Um, well, there's a little bit of a history there. He has played the AS200, which is same model as this one. So, but he also has a signature model. So I think he probably plays. I think he probably still plays AS200s sometimes. Is my guess. Um, but I know he has his own signature model now. So which he's had for quite a while. So and this is not that one. So I think like a lot of these signature models, he's got a model that he gravitated towards, like this model, and then he had some customizations and things that he personally liked, and then got the signature guitar, an Ibanez. Let's see. Will you ever play these instruments behind me? These instruments behind me are mostly student instruments, so they're instruments that I'll use to demonstrate or size students up, or see what they want to kind of do. So some folks do ukulele and some folks do bass and guitar. So I've got some steel strings and nylon strings and things um, that folks can kind of try. But um, for the most part, I don't really play those so much. But I have played these two guitars kind of behind me on my right hand side. All right. Adiraj, you are most welcome. Thanks for joining in. All right, everybody. Well, I'm signing off for today. I did add a couple books to the merch store, so check those out below. And also check out my Substack, which I just started. I'm probably going to be writing an article tomorrow morning on Substack for some lesson, and then also join my email newsletter list. And I'm in the process of getting more active with my email newsletter and sending out some free lessons directly to your inbox, and then occasional invites to um, various things that I don't necessarily release publicly, like live streams and things. So be sure to join all of that. So thanks, everybody. I do appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next one.